Hi, and welcome to Voices of the Goddess podcast. I am Julietta, the magical PT, and I am joined by my partner in crime.
Hey, all, Allison Mancini, your wellness warrior.
All right, and today we are joined by Barbara Gobbi. She is a social media marketing specialist. Welcome, Barbara. We are so grateful you are here. Can you please tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, ladies. I'm so excited to be with you. My name is Barbara Gobbi. I'm a marketing and branding strategist, and I've been in this industry for almost 30 years now. And we have a small boutique agency that primarily helps women business owners to launch and grow with social media, digital marketing, and marketing strategies.
Awesome. All right. So as you know, we like to ask our 4 questions each week of our goddesses. And the first one is, what is your superpower, or what would you choose it to be?
Yeah, I thought about this, and I think my superpower, and this isn't just work related, this is, in my family and with my kids, is I can see a problem from a 30,000 foot view. And I'm that gal you want in a crisis, and I can dive in, fix it, and, get everything straightened out. I fall apart later. But, even when I'm working with a business owner, I can look at their, what they're currently doing and come up with a solution to help them overcome a challenge that they're having, or all the way down to, like, my kid fell down and scraped his knee. What do I do? So I think I'm just a problem solver is my superpower, or at least I can come up with a strategy to do it. I may not always solve the problem, but I know it needs to be done.
That's a good skill to have.
I think that's a skill to have, especially in the last year with how crazy things have been. Is totally, I'm sure, has helped you not only in your business, but with your family, because you have how many children?
I have 4.
From ages what to what?
12 to 30.
Wait, did you have your 30-year-old when you were like 10 or something?
No, I wish. I was in college when I had her. I was a single mom for a long time.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, but I think that's so that is such an amazing superpower to have, because I think about that with my kids. I was really good at that with my kids in crisis. They could have blood gushing or bones sticking out, and I would be like, all right, and I'm totally handle it. And then afterwards, I would just lose it.
Mm-hmm.
But to have that skill and to carry it into business is like a huge superpower for sure.
Yeah, and when COVID hit, the first thing I thought of is, okay, what do we do to help? How can we help people? How can we help business owners who have to close their doors? And, what tools and skills and motivation can I give them? And it benefited me personally because I just kept my nose to the grindstone and kept focusing on how can I help these people and serving this audience. And I didn't get sucked into a lot of the drama or TV or news or election stuff or COVID stuff. I just focused on serving my audience because they needed me. And I believe that everybody has some gift or skill or talent, and that it's your duty to share that, and it's almost being selfish when you don't.
Yeah, I heard that from somebody else, and actually someone we interviewed just recently, she said almost along the same lines of, we all have a skill. We all have a superpower. And when we don't use it, we're actually doing a disservice, not only to ourselves, but to everyone around us. So yeah.
100%. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I love it. Sweet superpower.
So I don't have a lot of skills, but I think that that's one.
That covers a lot. That covers a lot for sure.
No doubt.
All right, Barbara, the next question we have is, what is a book? Because I know you've probably read like a million of them, but what is a book that has greatly influenced your life?
The one book that I always come back to, and I read it probably 25 years ago, is Many Lives, Many Masters by David Weiss. And I have read that book so many times and highlighted it and loaned it out and gotten it back that my copy is falling apart. But I just love the lessons that we learn in there about how to be a better human, how to have kindness and empathy and forgiveness and grace and humility. And those are so important. And I live those words to this day in my own life. It's just, it really made a huge impact on me.
Yeah, go ahead. Go, Julietta. Go. You go.
No, just because this is so interesting. I shared with Allison earlier, I had an Akashic record reading this morning. And one of the things that we talked about in that reading was, that I very readily pull skills from past lives into this life, I learn languages so easily, and I've been like, it has to be because I remember these languages from my past lives, not because I'm so smart that I learn them so easily. And so that you talking about that book and your superpower, I'm like, that's possibly your connection as well, is like your ability to just take any problem and like find the solution, is you're probably tapping into the things that you learned in those past lives.
Mm-hmm. It very well could be. Absolutely. Because, you feel like a connection to a place or a time or a skill, and you don't know why. Like I've traveled in Europe and I've gone to places where I felt like I was home. And they couldn't be more different from where I grew up. And I'm like, I feel home. Like I could be the tour guide. And I've never been here before.
Well, I think that even happens with people too. Like Julietta and I have had this conversation. I think the very first time we met at our BNI meeting, we were both like, okay, hey, and later on we were like, was it just me or did we feel like maybe we knew each other somehow? Or like, I've known you for a long time. I actually just read Many Lives, Many Masters just a couple of years ago for the first time. And I was like, holy cow. Like, right, exactly. Like total mind blown. I mean, just completely, and I hate the word, but it totally pivoted my whole perspective on life in general. And it just made a lot of things that I didn't understand or always questioned just kind of made sense. It's a great book. Highly recommend.
Great book. My sister has
done past life regressions.
No, I haven't. I would love to, though.
I would love to too. I've never had.
All right, I gotta hook you ladies up. It's gotta happen.
Yeah.
My mom used to do that stuff and I've never done it. So I need to do that.
I would love to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now my sister has this very close bond with her daughters. And one time the girls were little, like 3-4 years old, and they were sitting on a bridge. And the one said, this reminds me of that time when I was the mommy and you were my daughter and we fell in a river. Like, what?
That just gave me the chills. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Well, they do say, I mean, according to that book, it is that, most of the people that are immediately around you were maybe your spouse before, maybe your mother, maybe your grandfather, all these different things. I just find that so fascinating.
Yeah. And now we'll see people go, oh, that's a new soul, not an old soul. You can tell how many times they've cycled through.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
Yeah. All right. Next question is, what is your favorite self-care practice?
Allison knows this one. I am a huge bubble bath fan. I even schedule it in my planner. Like I have bubble bath night because
I love that.
I give myself permission to close the door and just take care of me and not watch TV or anything. I might read a book or listen to music or whatever, but no one interrupts me. And it does so much for my head, for my brain. And I come up with so many ideas because I get rid of all the clutter.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question. Do you have like a super deep, super soaker tub?
I do. We have an older house, but it does have a pretty good garden tub in it. It's not my dream tub, but it is pretty nice. I think my bigger problem is I don't have a good enough hot water heater to fill it.
Because my issue is, as a taller woman, like I don't fit in a tub. Like either my upper body is out of the water or my legs are out of the water. And then it's like, it's no fun for me. But if I had like
you fit in my tub in my house.
Yeah. I'm coming over.
Come on over. I could swim in my tub. Not bragging, but just saying I could probably swim in my tub.
Yeah. I love a good tub.
Mm-hmm. So that brings me to the thought we had the talk we had earlier is that, so I'm going to start keeping track of this, the top favorite self-care. I'm going to have to start like tallying it. But so far it's been meditation or a bath.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Meditation's definitely number one, probably for my reason. Like some of us just can't get a good bath. And
for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to meditate. I took your advice and got that insight timer, but I'll do my meditation and I'm like, okay, I really need to make my grocery list. Or should I be doing something while I'm meditating? Maybe I could have tea while I'm meditating, or maybe I should be on the treadmill and meditate. Like I can't just meditate.
Yeah, but they say that's not, meditating's not just about like emptying your whole mind. At least not what you're trying to do. It's just about seeing that the thought, like acknowledging the thought and then just letting it go. And it gets easier.
Acknowledge my grocery list and let it go. Okay, I can do that. Yeah.
All right. The next question is, how do you create accountability?
Yes. So I am a planner to a fault. And so I have to schedule everything out and everything goes on my calendar. And I schedule it every hour of the day, to the point where my mother-in-law was coming over for dinner the other day and I was telling my husband, like, I have to know, is she coming or not? Because I'm a planner. I have to plan this. He's like, she lives across the street. She's coming to dinner. I'm like, no, I have to plan these things. But it's accountability for me, because if it goes on my planner, it has to be done. And that's why I even put my bubble baths on there, because I don't cancel appointments with clients and I won't cancel an appointment with me. And I know that all these things that are on the planner will get me closer to my goals, whether it's my personal goals, professional goals, self-care goals. So that's how I create accountability, is by scheduling appointments for all of these tasks and things that I have to do.
Okay, so what do you do though? Because we've had this conversation. I'm a planner too. Wait, you'll be so proud. Those of you that are listening in, you can't see this, but look what
you got it, the goal planner.
I got it. The Cultivate What Matters 2021 goal planner, and I started going through it. Yep, and I'm loving it. But this has always been my biggest struggle, and I think it's just something I just need to learn just to let go, because I just have to. I'm very type A, but my biggest struggle is that when life happens, like we were talking with another one of our interviewees, like, your kid barfs or gets a fever, or, something happens like the pandemic. What do you do when your plan doesn't work out that way? Like for example, have you ever had your bubble bath time where you just, like, something came up with work and you just couldn't do it?
Yeah. Well, I would say the first thing is it's going to happen. It's inevitable. Things happen. And give yourself grace. First you have to forgive it, like, and not stress about it, because I had, my Cultivate What Matters planner. I had big, hefty goals this year. And then the first 2 weeks of the year, I was sick. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I can't be sick. I don't have time to be sick. I have all these things I have to be doing. And then I had to say, let it go. You're not going to get better if you worry about it. So that's the first thing I would say, is give yourself grace. And then, it's really about how you prioritize things in life. Everything is a choice. So especially when I was behind, when I started getting better the second half of the month, I had to look at the choices I was making to see, how could I catch up? What other things can I do now? So, I'm not going to binge watch Netflix because I've really got it. And it doesn't mean working more. It's just working smarter and focus on the choices that you make. Because things will happen. I even build in buffer times in my calendar for that emergency client phone call. And now that derailed my other thing in the morning. Whatever it is, I create buffers in my calendar for emergencies. Yeah. So if I didn't have that bubble bath because something happened, I have to think, okay, well, what else can I do to decompress tonight? Maybe it's just have a cup of tea. you know, or maybe it's just, you know, quiet reading time for a few minutes before bed. You know, figure out other ways that you can compensate, but don't ignore it altogether and let it go.
No, that's good advice. And I think the grace part, like I said like when I first said that, is like, I'm very type A. I just need to let that stuff go and not go and binge watch Outlander. So there you go.
I'm doing the
hard
same.
Not to though. He's so cute.
Yum. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe we can start asking that question. What are you binging on Netflix right now? I'm kidding. That's no.
I can answer that too.
Yes. Most of us can. All right.
So takeaway time. You want to go first, Allison? What was your takeaway?
Yeah, I think honestly, and Barbara, and we've talked about this before. I think I just had a big birthday last week, and I think it's time to grow up and give myself some grace, because I just I do really struggle with that. I really do. Like every day when I wake up in the morning, I look at and I'm very much like you are, but I time block everything, and I give myself space in case something doesn't go just as planned. And usually most days, not everything gets done. If I get 90% of it done, that's a good day. But then I like beat myself over the head for the 10% that didn't get done. And I want to be at Z already. And I need to learn to give myself grace and to enjoy the journey of A, B, C, D, E that whole way, which is a struggle. I find a lot of women have that struggle. Like we want to be there and we don't enjoy the journey of getting there, because that is where the joy is actually found, is during that journey of it. So I try to.
That's why they both start with the letter J. Joy of the journey.
Joy of the journey. That's kind of sad. That's why, like, I try to go outside and sit out back for a few and just enjoy the beautiful blue sky. I mean, we live in South Florida. We're so blessed when we go outside. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but you see Wisconsin, Julietta, they got like a ton of snow this weekend. Like they're awesome. So that would be grace definitely.
Yeah.
So my takeaways, I don't know why they always come from the very beginning of the show, but Barbara had talked about like not letting herself be distracted by COVID, the elections, and I was thinking about if I'm completely honest, like 2020 was one of my best years ever. Like, I love so much about 2020, and it's like, what is it that makes those of us that had great years, what's the difference? And I just wonder if it isn't like, because I didn't let COVID overwhelm me. Like, I didn't get totally like bogged down in what was going on in the elections. I'm like, sure, the people around me were, and they were talking about it, and I'd happily like entertain them for a minute if they needed to talk about it, but I didn't get stuck in it, and just like just looking at the bigger picture and looking at like what's important in my life. COVID and the elections are not important in my life. Like, it doesn't affect my day-to-day functioning. So why am I going to let it overwhelm me and take over? And so yeah, don't get distracted by these big things that we think matter, but they don't really matter. Like, I don't know. Anyway, Barbara, what was your takeaway?
Yeah, I agree with you there too, Julietta, because you always have to just stay focused on what matters most and what you can impact. I don't have anything to lend to a political discussion. So the fact that I didn't get caught up in elections is by choice, because I don't have anything to add to that, or any of the other things that happened last year. I'm not an authority on Black Lives Matter or, COVID-19. I knew what I could do, and I stuck to that, and I stayed with that and said, this is what I can control, and let go of the things I can't control. So really just staying focused on serving people was the biggest reason why 2020 was my best year ever.
That's awesome. So let's briefly talk about that before we wrap things up here. So you started a Facebook group that is phenomenal called the Startup Tribe. And you also have some amazing programs. But if any of our listeners or viewers want to connect with you, or they want to see a little bit more about what you do, because I can tell you I'm part of her Marketing Masterclass, and it's phenomenal. So how can they connect with you? And we'll be sure to put everything in the comments afterwards also, but share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I would say the best place is just to go to our website, barbaragobbi.com, because we've got great tools and resources that are completely free. We're just big on serving people and giving them, the things that they need to grow their business. And from there, you can find out more about the Startup Tribe, which is our Facebook group that serves primarily women business owners and giving them tips and tools and inspiration to grow their business. And then our class as well, as Allison mentioned, our Marketing Plan Masterclass. We launch that twice a year. So we'll launch it again in April.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It was so wonderful having you here, Barbara. Lots of little pearls in there today. And go and check out her website and all of what she has to offer. She is such a gift to all of us out there in small business and needing to market ourselves and move forward. So thank you for all that you do for everyone. And also everyone out there who's watching, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please go on and subscribe. We would love that, and share it with your friends.
Yeah, hit the bell, hit the button.
Hit the bell.
I know. I always am like, which way do I? Yeah.
So thank you, ladies. I love what you guys are doing too.
Yeah, and actually, your Startup Tribe is a free Facebook group, and it's phenomenal. You've created an amazing community there, and what I really love about what you've done too is you make it a very safe feeling place to ask questions, get advice, get encouragement. So thank you for doing that, Barbara, because it really is a great. And I think you started that pandemic, right before the pandemic,
Yeah, just like in December of 2019, we started it. It came from just us interviewing a lot of women, and they all were embarrassed to ask questions. And I said, there's no embarrassment. So that's why it's a closed community, so that you're in the same boat as everybody else, and it's a safe space.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
All right, this was awesome, ladies. I love it.
Thank you.
All right. Have a magical day.
Have an awesome day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.